last 6 or 7 minutes, you guys are in pretty good shape, and all of a sudden the game gets tighter and tighter and tighter. What happened?
We just kind of had a breakdown at the end. You know, we got to learn, you know, to not play with the end of the game like that. But, you know, we got to keep, you know, finish the game with focus and poise and, you know, doing what we do.
What was going so well offensively early on?
I think we just moved the ball a lot and had good looks. So, like, you know, we made all the shots, you know, we took pretty much. I think that was good.
You know, Ruslan, as he went into this game, did you feel like there's a lot of advantage he had in the paint before the game because he scored a lot of points in the paint, obviously?
Actually, you know, every time I come in the game, I don't know how I'm going to play. Like, I mean, I always think positive. And they just, you know, I just play. And if, you know, if it works, it works. If not, then it's not.
How happy are you when they don't bring help and they just leave you one-on-one?
I don't want to say I'm happy, you know, it's just a game. You know, if you play one-on-one, you play one-on-one. If somebody in a double team, you got to pass the ball. So, like, you know, it's all team sport, not just me playing one-on-one.
Last game, Coach wasn't real happy with the play in the paint. You guys gave up 50 points and you were out-rebounded pretty significantly. How big of an emphasis was that during this week, and how do you think you guys did tonight? Hey,
Well, you led the
you're the
paint.
big man.
But he led the people in the paint. I think it was, you know, a big key for us because, you know, like you said, we let you know, they scored a lot of points in the paint last game. So, you know, for us, we tried to improve that and let another team score less, you know, this time. And I don't really know. I think we, you know, did way better than last game.
And there was a play where, Evan, you were on the wing and you shot and missed a three-pointer. You got the rebound and then you cut back for a layup. I don't know if you remember that play, but can you both tell me, just maybe walk me through that and what you remember about it?
I remember, you know, taking the shot and, you know, I was getting back on defense and everything, but, you know, we sent 3 to the boards some of the times, and so Ruslan got the rebound and I saw an open lane, so I just kind of cut back and laid it up.
And I just saw him cutting, so I just passed the ball.
Anything else?
Evan, you've been on a pretty good stretch here. You were inconsistent for earlier in the season. Was it just a matter of, you know, just finding a rhythm to get things going?
Yeah, I think, you know, we're playing more together as a team, and, you know, I'm getting the ball and getting shots, you know, when we need to, and, you know, other players are stepping up, and so they don't have to help on me. And I think, you know, Jahi's, you know, creating his game as the pull-up and everything. So I think, you know, as a team, we're just working together a lot more.
What's it like, Evan, having you know, 2 bigs? Sometimes one shows up and the other really shows up that you can kind of rely on depending on what the game or whatever.
You know, having Ruslan, you know, he's just about an every game guy. But I mean, it's kind of unfortunate that he has to share time with JV sometimes. But you know, JV has stepped up this year, and Ruslan has when we needed him as well. So I think, you know, just to have a big at all times, I think it's, you know, we usually win when one of them are hot.
How do you feel Ruslan's played, particularly in conference play, giving you guys minutes off the bench?
He's, you know, giving us a big boost. You know, sometimes JV isn't having his best night, and, you know, Ruslan comes in and, you know, helps clean up, you know, backboards and, you know, setting screens and just knowing everything that's going on.
Ruslan, you were in there for like a really long stretch at one point. How are you feeling just being out there that long?
I was real tired. I mean, I was tired, but I know I had to keep playing and, you know, I had to fight with my mind, and, you know, that's what helped me, you know, be on the floor that long.
Did you feel like you had a strength advantage inside, kind of a physical advantage on some of these guys?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like, you know, it was kind of a little bit easier, I guess, to go in the paint than compared to other teams. But, you know, it's not always easy because you got to, you know, play one-on-one and stuff like that.
You had a couple dunks, I think. One I think I put back, and the other one just going up on the other defender. What do you remember about those? Was it just kind of be able to force your will like that?
I just follow the ball, you know, and try to look for, you know, open spot, and, you know, when the guard go into the rim, like, there is a chance he gonna miss. So, like, you know, there is, you know, as a big, I have to go for offensive rebound. So, you know, that's what helped me, I guess.
Thank you. That was an